This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. Man, we just want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listener today. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. And wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. It is essential, like water is to life. So, yeah, don't make the wrong decision. So go there today and make the right one, because we really appreciate you just for that. Now, it's time for the Braves to get the brooms out, T, and we're going to tell the folks exactly how they can do that. It's one thing to say, tell somebody to do something, but the good people, the great people, they tell you exactly how to do it, and we'll do that just for you. And it is game day. The Falcons take on the Lions up at Ford Field. 6 o'clock tonight. It's going down. Ooh, we know exactly who we'll have our eyes on. We'll reveal those and in our deep dive segment. And last but not least, and for the culture, the Atlanta sports scene is getting younger. And you know what? It looks very promising. T and I are going to give you some names that are going to help carry that Atlanta sports tradition or change it, because we're tired of doggone losing. And that's in for the culture. But before we get there, Atlanta Braves take on the Marlins tonight. And just like we said, T, these are one of the things that, Braves need to go and get a sweep. They swept the Red Sox. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. I think this Marlins series is no different.
Yeah, this is one where you just beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. You've been doing it all year. And what I love is this. We know that Max Fried, obviously, we got the news yesterday that he was put on the concussion IL retro back to August 8th. So that's the good news, right?
Yeah.
Because that at least lets us know by the 15th he should be back and ready to rock and roll somewhere kind of in the middle of that Mets series. So hopefully, and there's a little hole for the starting pitcher right in the middle of there. So hopefully he'll be able to fill that. But I say that to say, if you're going to miss Max for a series, this would be the one, right? And even Jake Odorizzi, who's starting tonight, mentioned that he feels like he's going to be a little bit better in his second start with the Braves because he will have gotten his comfort zone with William Contreras. So to your point, no reason that the Braves can't go into Miami and just get this done and keep it moving.
No doubt about it. And that Jake Odorizzi is a good name to keep an eye on, because, this is the guy that Alex Anthopoulos traded for, and we want to see a little kickback on get some return on that investment that Alex Anthopoulos used to, bring him over. And I think that this is the best opportunity, right? The Miami Marlins are a good thing to try out, right? Because we have Jake Odorizzi, Ian Anderson's going to get a start, and we'll talk about whether or not which one of those starters has to do well or get the win in order for the Braves to complete this sweep that we talked about. But before we get there, T, tell the folks about BetOnline.net.
So BetOnline.net, of course, is your number one source for all your betting needs, all your betting info. So you're thinking about the latest sports developments, right? Whether or not you're still betting the over-under or you're betting for the Braves to win the NL East, or you want to bet it for the Mets to win the NL East, or if you're me, you're looking to check out what's the over-under for the Steelers. And yes, they are winning more than 7.5 games, so people get over it. But if that line moves, I go to betonline.net to find out just that. And that's what we do for NFL, MLB, or NBA, which, Jarvis and I talked about the fact that there's word out there on the street that people are expecting the Hawks to come in number 2 in the East. So this is where you would watch those trends, betonline.net, but you can do it also for niche sites or niche sports rather, like golf, MMA, and boxing. So again, it's real easy. After you finish watching ATL Day Ones, go in your browser or on your phone and check out the BetOnline website today, and you can get all the information that you need to know where the game starts. Go to betonline.net.
No doubt about it. And it's interesting that, Odorizzi is getting a start tonight, right? Because he was a guy that I think was brought in for as insurance for a guy like Ian Anderson. And like we talked about, Max Fried being on the IL and
Mm-hmm.
this being a good series for him to take to give him a little break so he can kind of get his minds and the thoughts together,
Yes.
literally,
Yes.
for that Met
Yes.
series. I think that these two guys, Anderson and
Mm-hmm.
Odorizzi, are two pitchers that I feel like they have to get it going. I feel like
Yeah.
those two guys have to get it going in order for the Braves to sweep these guys like that exactly like they're supposed to.
Yeah. And I probably will literally hone in on, and you make a good point about Odorizzi as well as Anderson, but I'm going to go with Charlie Morton because
Mm,
I'm still looking for Charlie Morton to consistently give us the Charlie Morton of old. So yes,
right.
we have seen flashes of it. He'll give it to us one game and then not another. And don't get me wrong, there has to be the right run support because it's not always his fault when he doesn't get the win. It's really not always these pitchers' faults. Just last week, I think in one of the series, it was like an amazing game, from Max Fried, and then it's like, okay, can he get some run support? So again, if Charlie Morton gets the right run support, let's just set him up for success. But I do want to see him be more consistent, and I hope that he can get that consistency going in this series against the Marlins ahead of the Mets, and not just the Mets, but really ahead of the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I'll add another name in there, right? Spencer Strider. Spencer
Yeah.
Strider got to get it going too,
Hmm.
because his last outing, not good.
Yeah.
It was
Rough.
not good last time we saw Spencer Strider because he's a guy that we were expecting to come up big because he could match, that 100 mile per hour that Jacob DeGrom was throwing on the mound,
Hmm.
102 to be exact. And
Yes.
he's a 100 mile per hour guy, and
Hmm.
he was out of there in what 2 2/3 if I remember correctly. So
Yep. That's it.
that's unacceptable
Yeah.
at this point because like the Braves need Strider to be Spencer Strider. Like the
Hmm.
reason why the buzz is a buzzing about him being the NL Rookie of the Year, or he and Michael Harris being NL Rookies of the
Yes.
Year. So I think that those are some of the things that we have to see in this series. And
Hmm.
to be honest with you, not only and you kind of brought it up. I like the fact that you brought it up. That run support has to be there as well because you got Ronald Acuna. He's starting to warm
Hmm.
up. He's starting to heat up a little bit,
Yes.
and you saw
Yes.
Marcell Ozuna come out of his
Hmm.
closet.
Right. Right.
Hopefully
Yes.
that won't
Stays
be
out the fog.
a one shot deal.
Yeah.
Stays out the
Yeah.
fog, that brain fog of him trying to figure out how to be a major league baseball player, like
Hmm.
he's paid to be, and
Yes.
hopefully he can figure that thing out. But I think
Hmm.
those bats are a piece that needs to kind of get warmed up as well, and I think that
Yeah.
it's promising. They're off to a
Hmm.
great start if nephew Ronnie is doing what he's doing, and because what he did against the Red Sox, like that's what the
Yeah.
Braves need to
Yeah.
get the ball rolling. Then you got Vaughn Grissom coming up, bringing up the rear as well.
Hmm.
We know what the Braves need to do in order to
Yes.
get this thing done.
Indeed, indeed. And not just what Ronald Acuna Jr. did in the last series, but really when you look across kind of, I think it was about 7 games, if you will, 11 for 25. That's what we're looking for. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be home runs, get
Right.
on base.
Yeah.
And then we already know, to your point, when he's on base, we know that that's almost insurance of a run if all it is an RBI single from
Right.
the batter, whoever's in that two hole to get him around. So I like that, and also I think it's important even tonight for Jake Odorizzi and all the pitchers who are going to pitch this series to go deep. That way, you have your bullpen rested and relaxed for that Met series as well. Because, like you said, a 2 2/3 outing, you just can't have that, especially if you're expecting that bullpen to rise to the occasion next week.
No doubt about it. And speaking of another team that we're expecting to rise up, we like that, right? Falcons Lions at Ford Field in Detroit is going down in the D. We will see if Arthur Smith offense can get the ball rolling. Not literally, but yeah, get that running game popping off. We'll talk about all of that and what we're going to have our eyes on and what you should be looking out for. For that's next right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. Don't go anywhere.